all playing with each other.
Go around.
How's it? Yeah, I will do. Thank you. Thanks, Peter. Awesome. Puppies. Turn my volume down on the Cape Drive channel. Oh, this is wonderful. Just scoot around. This looks like our Investec pack with the 3 adults and the pups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I was wrong, there's 20 wild dogs here. For now, so we can watch them playing with each other. Hear them squeaking. There's some water buck off at the back, so there's a chance they might go for them, but let's watch them play for now. Ooh. 20 wild dogs, I think possibly more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 wild dogs. You hear them squeaking. That's amazing. And he's playing that little squeaking sound. That's a submissive sound. And you can actually see the adult at the back playing with them. That's an adult playing with the pups. Jessica, you were wondering about that sound, whether or not it's the sound of the adults making to the pups to round them up. The answer is no, it's coming from the pups themselves and they're being playful. I know we don't have the clearest view, but don't worry, we've got so many wild dogs here, we just don't know where to look. It's incredible. I think I've counted 21. I think that's my final count. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 adults. And then a whole load of puppies. 10 puppies maybe. I had no idea this pack was so big. How amazing. Now the previous pack that we were seeing before, or we have seen around Buffelshoek, has got 11 pups and only 3 adults. Here we've got about half adults, half pups. And Jessica, you were wondering if it's common to see more pups than adults in a pack. I'm sorry, I was about to move out of the way from the car, but the car is stopped for now. And the answer is that it is. Oh, I don't know. No, it depends on the pack itself, because it might have just had a dispersal. What a stunning visual. Sorry to interrupt Jessica's question. You did hear sounds of leopard mating. I'm going to try and find out who it was. They're not on the property, but you did hear sounds of leopards mating. On the Arathusa dam camera last night, there are leopards mating around here. So that was what you heard. Well done. Very, very well done to our viewers who picked up on that sound. Alright. Okay, so Jessica's question. The average of pups can be from 13 to 20 individuals in a litter, and that's the average. So they are capable of producing really, really big litters. So for an answer to Jessica's question, in terms of if it's common to have more pups, it can be, depending on how young the pups are. They just have such a high mortality rate that the wild dogs need to breed as rapidly as possible. And I know that James has mentioned this before, about the fact that most animals within the Kruger Park, so the studies done, have shown that they don't live past 5 years old. And that is something worth remembering, that life out here is very tough for a wild dog pack. I'm actually going to shift backwards now. We've got these wonderfully flat adults, but I want to try and loop around to get the pups. So bear with me for one moment. We do have a limited time period with these wild dogs. We're going to have to pull out in a moment. So I'm going to go and get us a nice few of the pups, and then we're going to have to leave so that we can bring other vehicles in. As you can imagine, a sighting like this is very much in demand. How these animals operate. Stop here so we can watch the pups. That sound we heard, Lynn, could well be begging from the pups. That is how wild dogs operate. We're going to run across in front of us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pups. I can count 9. I think there's 10. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh my word, I can't keep count. Please keep count for me, see if you can. There's just so many wandering around all over the place. So that sound that they make, those little yelping squeaks, that can be a begging sound. It's something that wild dogs practice from the very beginning. That begging sound for food. My word, this pup just walked straight under my tire. He literally walked under my bonnet. That is how used to people these animals are. It's like I didn't even exist. Natasha, I think this is the Sands pack. The Sands pack is in Sabi Sands. I think this is who they are. Oh, it's so wonderful that our endangered species are managing to reproduce at the rate that they are. These dogs are so endangered. And Trent, you were wondering how many pups there are on the Sabi Sands. If you saw some on the Nkoro cam this morning. What's up, buddy? Trent, I honestly don't know. Sorry, I'm trying to move my head out of your way. I really don't know. But it's fantastic to see at least 3 groups with 3 sets of pups. The Investec, I think the Half-Tail pack has pups as well, and the Sands pack. So just within our area, the wild dogs that we get to see. Alright guys, I'm sorry to do this to you, but I think we have to pull out of this sighting. If we can, I will try and make my way back in. But what an incredible time we got to share, just however brief it was, with this pack. Let me just hop on the Game Drive channel and clarify. Stations, how many vehicles are still waiting for a spot at the Madash? Okay, copy. Next vehicle on standby. If you want to approach, I'll make my way out of the sighting. Wonderful, thank you very much. Copy that. You may make your way in. We'll stay with them until you get here. Okay, let's try and keep with them for our last few moments. I know it was short-lived, but to see 21 of the endangered animals that we get out here, there's maybe 500 wild dogs in South Africa, and you're seeing 21 of them. Now the fact that they've left their den, Carol, I think that means that they're no longer nursing, and they're making that begging sound that they made earlier. And shift forward a little bit. That begging sound that they're practicing, that they're making, that's to get the parents to regurgitate food. So they are weaned at a very young age. So, yeah. Wow. We've still got them all to ourselves for the moment. There's just doggies everywhere. We are so lucky to have this experience, even if it is brief. Look Look at those ears, those giant ears. So they've left the den, they're now moving with the pack, which means that the adults are capable of bringing them food, and they will do. I mean, sorry, let me rephrase that. They don't have to bring the food as far. The pups can eat along with the rest of the pack, and it's amazing how subservient wild dogs are. So the alpha pack will get to eat, the alpha pair will get to eat, and the pups don't have to, like lions, they don't have to try and fight for their share of the food. They just have to beg, and the adults will let them come through and eat part of the kill. Oh. Interesting question from Lisa, because these dogs have such incredible subservient behavior. There's hardly any aggression. It's not at all like watching lions or something like that. You were wondering if they would fight if another pack came around, and the answer is yes, probably there would be some aggression. They do have their territorial areas, but the borders are not fixed. So they can move around fluidly within each other's areas, but I think if they did encounter each other, there'd be lots of growling. But for the most part, they will try and avoid each other. Wild dogs are not confrontational creatures for the most part, which is why they're one of my favorite predators to see out here. Sorry, head's in the way. Look at them go! Gambling away. Oh, wild dogs are just never boring. And Barbara, you were wondering if we have to go, I'm afraid. I'm really sorry. I know it's a wonderful sighting, but we've got to share it equally with the guys who called us in and made space for us. So we're going to head out. If we're lucky at the end of the drive, then we can come back and return to them. But we're going to have to leave them for now. And while we do that, we're going to head back across to Scott and see what he's up to. I will be back with you a little bit later. Djuma, you were wondering why it is that wild dogs are so endangered. Is it a lack of space, or is it because they are poached? And the answer is a combination. First of all, they're seen as a threat to livestock in terms of killing things like sheep and cows. So unfortunately, and up until the middle part of the 20th century, it was accepted conservation practice to be rid of them. They were seen as vermin, as pests. Crazy to think that now, but that is what they were thought of back then. That was the general conservation. Even in terms of conservationists, they thought of them as something to be eradicated. I'm going to shift forward slightly so we can see the sleeping bundle of puppies. Oh, sorry, right on top of the other vehicle. But we do have a bit of a view of the pups all gone to sleep. So right up until the middle of the 20th century, even in conservation terms, even within Kruger at the beginning of the 20th century, they thought that it was acceptable conservation practice to rid the area of what was seen as vermin. You're going forwards, not backwards. That's cool. Thank you. A wonderful way to finish off our day. Sorry, man, just for the last few minutes of our show.
Cameraman, can I go fast?
Can you go? Sharp, thank you. We have some wonderful information for our last few moments from Grant, who works for the Endangered Wildlife Trust, and we say a big thank you to Grant. This is apparently the half-tailed pack, the Sabi Sands half-tailed pack. Amazing stuff. Thank you, Grant, for that information and for sharing it with our viewers. It's so wonderful to get on top of all of the different animals. And must be the pack. That's why we're seeing so many pups, where both the alpha and the beta female had pups. It's not unheard of, but it is quite a rare situation for both the alpha and the beta female to breed and survive. Here's an elephant walking in the background. And we've touched on some amazing things. Maggie is sending us information that if a single pup begs for food, then they won't get it, but if a group begs, then they will all get food. It's all part of the incredible dynamics of a wild dog pack, and that level of subservience that they practice essentially from puppyhood. Guys, we can't extend the show, but I just want to say a big thank you to you all, and a big thank you to Andrew for making space for us, and to Tebs for his wonderful camera work. Have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world, and we will catch up with you for the sunset safari. Have a great time.